Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Stakey here, back with yet another Marvel Champions gameplay video, but in today's video it's going to be slightly different. I'm actually going to be commentating over my video. I recorded this by itself with no audio because I realized the games would go by faster if I play this way and then commentate over it, which I thought might be kind of interesting. So instead of it being like a 30-40 minute game or so, if I'm lucky, now it's actually only just like 15 or so minutes, which I thought was pretty cool. So in this video, I am taking on Venom from our limited environment draft tournament, and I'm going to be using Drax in protection. So you can see here in the video, I'm shuffling up. I shuffled up the encounter deck. I showed off Drax, some of the cards I'm using, the protection cards real quick, and now I'm just doing some good shuffling. I've played a few practice games, really, I would probably say 5 or 6 or so. And about half of them, I just like rage quit. I just gave up because it was just miserable. 2 of the games ended with like a horrible surge train. So I was like, yeah, it's over. Like, these aren't going to go well. But I have some decent hopes, right? I think I'm going to do pretty well. Right? So I'm drawing my opening hand here. It's not very good. I'm looking at it, and I do have the opening nowhere, which I thought would be pretty nice. So I was really considering it, but I was like, nah, I'm going to stick with my healing. So I keep the first aid and some of my Drax cards and get some more stuff. But overall, not a very strong start. And I'm like, yeah, this doesn't look very good at all. Mostly my goal is to try to knock out Tooth and Nail as soon as possible. I always start turn 1 by knocking off Venom's Tough. And because I technically don't deal damage to him, I don't have to give him a boost card. So I decided to use Fight Me Coward here. He doesn't have any boosts. It gets me another ready. It's going to get me another token. And he's just going to hit me for, 3-ish damage, 2 damage, something like that. It's really not a big deal. But I'm thinking, like, do I subdue this? And I was like, yeah, I'll hit him with Subdue. So he's hitting me for 3 damage. The boost effect doesn't matter because it just removes a chime counter. So I don't take any damage from this hit. And I get a counter, and it's really nice, right? Because he got -3 attack, so I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. So now I'm sitting at 2 attack, and I'm debating, do I try to hit him with a leading blow? Because then I'll get another ready, and I can attack him again. So essentially, I can do like 4 damage or so total. I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. So I decided to hit him with a leading blow here. I discard the top card, and it doesn't have a boost. So I technically shouldn't be reducing my attack at all. For some reason, I decide to reduce my attack by 1, but that's offset a little later, like the next turn, so it's not a big deal. So I do a point of damage, should be 2, but I deal a point, and I get to ready Drax. And this is going to give Venom a boost, which I go ahead and give him a boost. So, it is what it is. Now I'm thinking, okay, what do I got going on? I said, you know what, since I have first aid, I'm just going to go for it. I decide to hit him for another 2 damage, and I give him another boost. Now, I'm not putting these counters on the bell tower because I'm trying to get rid of Tooth and Nail, and I need to damage Venom directly, so that's why he's taking the damage, and I'm not putting it on the bell tower. If I did like a really big hit, like with the Knife Leap, which I just drew, well, that changes things, right? But, for the moment, I'm just doing some chip damage, and I'm not worried about it. He's hitting me for 3 boost cards here. I have 14 health, I just take it. So I get 1 boost icon of the 3 cards. So that's 3, but he does reveal Now I'm Angry, which gets attached. Gives him +1 attack. I take 4 damage total, which would drop me to 10, and it does. And I decide to hit him with Payback. Payback is an attack. It is going to deal 2 damage, and I'm not sure here if it's 2 damage or 3 damage. I'm like, do I get the Drax counter first and then attack? Or do I attack and then get the counter? So either way, like, I'm hitting him for like 3 damage, so kind of gives me that extra damage I missed earlier. So I'm like, okay, this works out well. It is an attack, so I do get to remove a counter off of Now We're Angry, and I should here, now that I actually look back at it, I should be removing stuff off Tooth and Nail, and I don't, which is pretty unfortunate, and that probably just didn't, work out very well. But his first encounter card here is Swinging Assault, so he attacks me again, and I'm taking a lot of damage. I think it ends up being 5 because I missed something, or it's 6 damage, 7, it's a lot. I dropped to like 3 hit points when I'm done because I forgot about his +1 attack. His other encounter card here is an advance for the 2, so he does, you know, boost the scheme up to 6 out of 10, and here I remember the other 1 damage from Now We're Angry. So again, Tooth and Nail should be, you know, like lower, should be at 2, I think, or 3, but I totally missed it. So I decided to Knife Leap here for 9 damage, and I said, you know what, that's a lot of damage. We're going to put it on the bell tower. With only 3 hit points, this is going to really help out. So since I didn't damage him directly, I don't get to remove any counters or anything like that from anything else in play, but I thought that was a pretty solid turn. And I think those 9 bell, you know, those 9 counters are definitely going to help me as I drop my cards. I do have a med team, which is going to be really nice. It's going to help me heal up over the next couple turns. So I'm pretty happy. So he's going to attack for 2, 3, and a boost of nothing. It's only 3 damage. It's going to remove 3 from the bell tower, which is fine. We're still holding out at 6. 2 encounter cards. Of course, the first one is an activation. So he's hitting me for 2, 3 again, which removes another 3 counters. So now we're down to 3. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's whatever. However, I am getting these counters on Drax, so I get to keep drawing cards. Next encounter card, Exhaustion, which surges into Webbed Up, which is just the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen. So now I'm exhausted, and now I have Webbed Up, so I'm not going to be able to activate for several turns. Like, several activations, it's terrible. But I am rocking a 6-card hand size, which is really nice. So here I'm trying to debate, do I want to use my Intimidation to get some of the threat off the, you know, that main scheme there? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I really should. And I'm pretty sure I decided to do it here. And I use a Determination resource, which will heal me for 1. And then I get to remove 4 threat off the main scheme, which is really nice. So, you know, I'm back up to 6 here. And I'm like, okay, I need to get Med Team down. And I decide to get rid of Come Get Me Bub and a double. I only put 2 counters on Med Team because I'm just going to use it anyway. And puts me to 8. So I'm like, okay, not bad, not bad. Don't really have a lot going on. I decide to hold on to Too Stubborn to Die because with all these activations, it's really going to help me stay alive. So, you know, going into the next round, I do find one of my knives, which is nice. He is going to hit for a base of 3. I'm definitely losing my counters here. I have no defense. So this one is Lashing Out, the boost card. I take 2 indirect damage, and it has 1 boost icon. So that's 4 damage total, which is going to remove everything off of the bell tower, and I'm going to take an extra point of damage. So I'm down to 5 here, but I do get to draw a card because I have all my vengeance counters. So I'm like, okay, well, it's so many activations, but that definitely helped keep me in the game, right? So first encounter card, For Whom the Bell Tolls. I am taking, you know, another point of damage here because there's nothing on the bell tower. And the second encounter card is the absolute worst card for Drax. It's called Friends and Family. All of my events cost 1 more. And in playtesting, I've gotten this several times, and it just absolutely destroys me. I have to get rid of this card. And I realize that here, as I'm thinking, I'm like, I need to get rid of this card, or I'm going to have a really bad time. So I'm considering, well, the main threat only has 4, or the main scheme has 4 threat on it. And I'm trying to think, okay, if I could flip down. I only have 4 health. I could heal back up to 10, 12 with the med team. I'm like, okay, what card do I get rid of for the effect? I'm like, let's go for it. So I decided to flip down here. And it's going to remove all my counters. I heal for 2 for each one, taking me to 10, which is really nice. That's a good boost there. And then I'm going to get rid of Friends and Family, and I actually decide to get rid of Too Stubborn to Die. I'm like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. And I really want the knife instead for the Retaliate. So I decided to keep that around. So I use my med team, go back up to 12. Not bad, not bad. I'm like, okay, what do I get rid of for my knife? I decide to get rid of Subdue. The other 2 cards I don't want at the moment, so I decide just to pitch them, which is, you know, very unfortunate. And I draw up to my hand size of 6. Which is pretty nice. It's nice to have another hand size of 6, you know, going into the game. So, now it's scary, though. Venom, it's 5 out of 10. He's going to scheme for 2 plus a boost, which is nothing, but I do take 1 point of damage because there's nothing on the bell tower. So, I'm like, that's not bad, right? It's at 7. 7 out of 10. I'm down to 11 hit points. That's fine. 2 encounter cards. First one is Caught Off Guard. I decided to get rid of the med team. It only has 1 counter left, and I'd rather keep the knife. So Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. And of course, the second one is Under Fire. I get 2 more encounter cards. I'm getting every expert card here. I get Common Criminal with Surges into the side scheme that doesn't really do anything. Like, if you ignore the bell tower, it's fine, because it just blanks the bell tower. And then the other card I get, I haven't really seen before. It's the one where he gets an extra boost card, basically, so I have to deal at least 3 damage to him, or he just gets like an extra boost card, which is very unfortunate. So I decided to get rid of Fight Me Coward to defeat the Common Criminal and remove 3 threat from a side scheme, and I decided to clear the bell tower one, or the one that blanks the bell tower. I thought that'd be, you know, pretty useful. So I'm thinking, is there anything to do in Alter Ego? I'm like, no, I'm not going to heal. So I'm going to flip up here. I'm still stunned, which is, you know, very unfortunate. And I'm like, okay, I definitely want Mantis down. What do I get rid of? I decided to get rid of Gamora in Leading Blow for Mantis. I'm going to attack to clear my stun, so finally I can, you know, start doing damage again. And I'm checking my discard pile because I only have 2 Intimidations in the deck, and I'm holding one of them. I'm like, should I get rid of it? I decide to thwart with Mantis to get the main scheme under control, and I have Parry and Intimidation. I'm like, well, I'm not going to Intimidate for 1, and I'm just checking to see, like, if I have any more parries, like, what else do I have going on in here? And I'm like, you know what, I think I'm going to hold on to the parry and the intimidation, because I really want to help clear some threat. So I decided to hold these 2, and I'm going to draw 2. So I get my Knife Leap and Groot. Knife Leap is huge here. I'm always happy to see it. So he's going to hit me for a base of 3 again. And I'm just going to take it with 11 health. Boost of 1, I take 4 damage. Going to take me to 7, which is fine, because Mantis can heal me for 3. Although I could really use her for thwarting. 2 more encounter cards. I get a Guard, Symbiote, Enraged Symbiote, which is fine. And then this awful, awful side scheme. After I just flipped Volunteer Work, I can only remove threat from Alter Ego, and I get an acceleration token, which is terrible because I'm sitting at 7 threat on the main scheme, which is not ideal. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to flip down again, right? Because I don't really have the thwarting, and I need to have damage to thwart, and it's just awful, right? Or damage on me with my counters. So I'm thinking, okay, I can Knife Leap. I have 2 attack. I can Knife Leap the Symbiote for 2 cards. That would be 5 damage overkill, and that's going to do a lot of stuff here. So I decide to do that. So I'm attacking for 7. So it takes out the Symbiote. It puts 5 damage onto Venom. And I decide, you know what? We are going to do that. I drop him to 6 here. So he's taking 5 damage, which means several things, actually. His little attachment is going to go away, but he is going to get a boost card because I did some damage to him, but since it's more than 3, it gets discarded. Since I did attack him, we get to... well, I guess I'm removing that 1 counter. Yeah, because I think he took damage from an attack. And I also cleared Tooth and Nail because he took 5 damage. So I'm like, okay, this is awesome. He does get an extra boost card because I did damage him again from the overkill. So, okay, it is what it is. And because of that, I decide to heal Drax for 3 and put him at 10 instead of thwarting the main scheme with Mantis. And I'm like, do I really want to do that? I am holding parry, but I decide, you know what, I'm going to try to, you know, keep my health, you know, healthy or whatever, you know, as healthy as I can. I do draw into Med Team and Star-Lord. I'm like, okay, Star-Lord will help me thwart at the cost of like like an extra encounter card. That's totally fine. So I'm just taking this hit. He hits me for 2, plus 2, 4, and then plus 1 from his attack, which is 5 damage. So I'm like, ouch, right? So that's taking me to 5, and I do get another counter. However, I do have parry. So I get to block damage equal to twice my attack. And since my attack is 2, I block 4 damage, so I only take 1. I'm like, wow, okay, that works out really well. And I get a counter. He gets retaliated again. And the Symbiote, though, is going to hit me because he came out as a boost. So I take 2 damage from him. But he does get hit with Retaliate, which is really nice. I'm like, okay, so I get into counter card. Of course it's Advance. Of course it's Advance. It doesn't matter. I lose anyway. He gets a boost of 3. If anything, you know, I could have thwarted with my Mantis there and removed 2 threat, which would have put it at 9 instead of, you know, boosting it up to say like 11 or whatever. But I like as a whole, I don't really think it would have mattered. It might have, honestly, but it is like I chanced it, and I just happened to get the second advance at just the absolute worst time. But hey, it is what it is. It was still super fun, and I think he's just super fun to play. And I look forward to play with him, playing more with him in the future, not in this environment. But yep. Anyway, that is my battle against Drax, or I'm sorry, with Drax against Venom, expert mode Venom. So hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You stay safe out there, make good decisions, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.